when I listen to prayer, it often for me feels like a internal chiropractic adjustment. It sort of adjusts the bones, the arrangements of the bones of my own thinking. I find fear to be so sophisticated, at least as it is over here. And meaning, I don't go around going, nothing good's going to happen to me. Nothing good's going to happen over here. I don't go around saying that, but I have more subtle ways of turning away the miraculous I am presence from my own being. And I find for me, one of the ways I achieve a sense of being separate from the eternal now, which is obviously not what I truly deeply want and am committed to. But when I'm getting egoed, when I'm getting played by my own fear-based thinking, when I get caught in those thought loops, when I enter into, I call it like the thought train. I got on board this thought train to take me down a road of fear, doubt, worry, dread is what I'm discovering is what hooks me is the belief that I'm the doer. It's like if my ego can get me there, it's pretty much got me. And then, then the ego, my sense of separation from God, the fictitious Angela, then the ego's got access to all my creativity. Like everything can be sort of used on behalf of struggle, suffering. But if I'm not the doer, if I can remain ever more humble to it is doing me, it is doing me, I am being done, then there is a serenity that envelops me. It holds me. And that is why we come to prayer, at least why I come to prayer. It's a theory as to why I believe many of us come to prayer is we want to feel held. We need to feel held because we're in this human life, we're bridging this extraordinary apparent gap between being so utterly vulnerable, right? Where we need each other. If you're like me, somebody else sewed the clothes I'm wearing right now. Somebody, you know, got that olive oil in the bottle for me. Like I'm dependent on so many people for my existence. I'm interdependent. There's so much vulnerability in human life. And yet we're so powerful. We're so utterly powerful. I was thinking last night and this morning for some reason really about our podcast, this podcast. And I was like, I just love that I am and that you are willing to experiment with what is the power of prayer. You know, is it possible that I am, you are a kind of invisible love that can go anywhere? We can be on any continent. We can be, you know, out in the cosmos. We can be on the moon. We can be anywhere with our prayer. Like our prayers, we're never helpless when we've got prayer because we can presence love. And love is an activity and it's a dynamic occurrence. And yet it can be so subtle, we don't even feel it or sense it. A lot of us can feel it and sense it, and we get better and better at that. Of course, the more stressed we are, then our sensing the love usually goes out the window. But we can look back and say, oh, there it was. There was that love. So I love that we're willing to experiment with giving one another love for the benefit of one another's lives and the lives of all those we pray for today. So the doership, back to the doership. If I'm not the doer, I'm willing to rest this noggin of mine, this head. I'm willing to rest all its thinking. I'm willing to let my head almost sink into my heart. I'm not talking about the org in my heart. I'm using the word heart for the God I am presence of myself. And then I get into that, you know, really beautiful, I call it that Krishnamurti consciousness or Brother Lawrence consciousness. I'm able to I say kind of because I'm not fully living 24/7 in a sense of communion with the eternal. But when I go there, I can get into that consciousness. The Krishnamurti quote is, do you want to know the secret of my peace? I will tell you. I'm okay with whatever happens. I start to feel okay with whatever happens. I'm not projecting, oh my God, this could happen and I've got to be okay with it. I'm not in the future so much. I'm just okay with whatever happens. I am okay, truly okay, no matter what. I'm okay no matter what. The ego would have us constantly try to manage things according to our liking. And of course, the trick with that is if you've ever observed your ego, do you notice how your liking changes? Like the minute you get one thing, it wants another thing. Oh, I'd be so happy if I could just buy that condo. And then you get it, and now there's something else. So it's not all that trustworthy, is it? That ego, I can remember thinking so many times, I absolutely know. I can remember lying in bed in absolute terror related to finances. And I thought, like, I just need 10,000 extra dollars. If I had 10,000 extra dollars somewhere above and beyond what I need monthly, oh, I would be okay. I would never stress again. And I got that. And it's weird though, because I did stress again. Now, maybe not about money, but something else, it just oh, keeps rearranging the chairs on the Titanic, as they say. So, but to give up doership, I'm not the doer. That's a very threatening thought to our egos. Well, but I do have agency. What about free will, Angela? What about free will? Where is the free will? Maybe the only free will is I don't know, I'm not claiming to know, but is in the letting go of the illusion of control. And what is it like to trust I am, you are, we are being done? And we're not being done by some random force. When you consider this prayerfully, we're being done by the love that is. So it's just amazing when we trust something greater than our current thinking. And I'll tell you, boy, girl, non-binary. I don't know what the saying would be for that right now, but it's like our current thinking, we make that God. Our current thinking can be so compelling.